This is the generation that will follow the Lord. This is a generation that will seek the Lord.
Police are getting more aggressive with the pro-democracy protesters, but Hong Kong's leader now says he's willing to meet with them. 18-year-old Joshua Wong has ignited the wave of civil disobedience in Hong Kong. His pro-democracy efforts have made him one of Time magazine's 25 most influential teens of 2014. CBN Asia correspondent Lucille Toulousan recently sat down with the amazing student leader for a rare, exclusive interview.
It was in 2012 when Joshua Wong first became a household name. At 15, he founded a student movement that overturned a pro-communist school curriculum in Hong Kong. He is now in his first year of college, taking up politics and public administration. His passionate speeches have energized Hong Kong crowds and pro-democracy rallies. CBN News caught up with him during one of his idle moments for a rare exclusive interview. Joshua, what triggered you to do what you are doing now, fighting for democracy?
I think the reason for me to involve in the movement and even organize the civil disobedience is just because I believe that students can choose and decide the future of Hong Kong.
The last time students stood up to the Chinese government in Beijing, many were killed at Tiananmen Square. That was in June 1989. And 25 years later, aren't you afraid for your life?
I think under the independence of law and the freedom of press, it's still safe for me to involve in the movement. Unlike in mainland China, someone may be kept on the jail for 10 or 20 years.
We asked Wong if he had any political ambitions.
Not really. I don't have really a special idea on it. I just hope to achieve the goal of fighting for the true universal suffrage in Hong Kong.
How do you want all of this to end?
Whether we can stop the movement just depends on the attitude and the response of the government official.
You're a Christian, and what do you think is God's purpose for you?
Different people, they may have different talents on the spiritual aspect. Someone may be preach the gospel, sing inspiration. I think some of the Christians should change the mindset of the general public on Christian, rather than just keep to serve inside of the church. Christians should serve and to show the spirit of the Christian outside of the church.
Just moments.
Every year on October 1st, people across China raise the flag in commemoration of the founding of the People's Republic of China. Joshua Wong has been trying to attend his local flag-raising ceremony in Hong Kong for the past 3 years, but has not been allowed in by the authorities. This year, they finally let him in, but when the flag rose, he crossed his arms and turned his back. Subway, he looks like any other kid, but this 17-year-old is far from ordinary. He leads a student group known as Scholarism.
當一般嘅學生淨係諗緊點樣去為自己嘅未來讀書、學業或者事業去籌謀嘅時候，佢哋就會去諗到底香港嘅未來應該點。
In any given day, Mr. Wong gets dozens of interviews, appearing regularly on radio and television shows to talk about politics in Hong Kong. In recent months, he has become a symbol for democracy across the island. In July, he helped rally over 300,000 people to the streets of Hong Kong for an annual pro-democracy march in the
people who are in the pro-government camp, and as we know that although we are organizing the civil disobedience, we still may persist our principle of peace and non-violence. I hope the protesters are still live and Wong Kong will consist this principle, and we show that we have better quality compared to the people who support government.
Do you want the protesters in Hong Kong to stay in Hong Kong or to move to where you are in Admiralty?
Country Scholarism and Hong Kong Federation of Students and OCLP, we have given our announcement and asked the people, especially for students and old people, they should move the place for the demonstration from Wong to Admiralty, which is the place nearby the central the government office. It should be more safe. However, in this moment, more and more people who love Hong Kong and believe in justice, they come to Hong Kong to support the people who are still remain in the same place. So the roadblock action is still contained. Yeah.
Who are the anti-Occupy people who are attacking the student protesters and the pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong? Who are they?
Actually, I do not know their detailed background, but I think they're not just some normal citizens who live in Hong Kong. Because after CY Leung become the Chief Executive of Hong Kong, some of the people have the...
For these images of protesters using umbrellas to shield themselves from tear gas and then from the pouring rain that drenched an immovable crowd in central Hong Kong. Taking some inspiration from Occupy Wall Street, thousands of students took over a courtyard in Hong Kong's financial district on September 26. They were sending a message to China and the world that they were over the oppressive Chinese regime.
We have a simple message, is that we just want democracy.
Here's the story. For about 150 years, Hong Kong belonged to the United Kingdom. It was a British territory, and it became a thriving business center and booming metropolis. Some people even call it New York with a beach. But in 1997, Britain handed Hong Kong back to mainland China in what sounded like a good deal.
Now, Hong Kong people are to run Hong Kong.
The Chinese told the people of Hong Kong they could maintain some independence and have freedom of the press and the right to assemble, things prohibited in the rest of China. The arrangement was called One Country, Two Systems. They even said that by 2017, Hong Kong could elect its own government. But not so fast. Recently, Beijing started to backpedal. China insisted that those elections can move forward only with candidates chosen by China. So the students hit the streets. At first, the police came out in full force. Dozens were injured and thousands were sprayed with tear gas. Then, thanks to social media, the world saw this, Umbrella Man. And people remember this, Tank Man. That image from 25 years ago in Tiananmen Square became an iconic symbol of the fight for freedom in China. The unrest in 1989 led to fierce battles in the streets, and the military killed an estimated 1,000 people. So this time around, police have dialed back, and as the crowds grow, they've remained peaceful. As millions tweet and post their support for #OccupyCentral, those messages won't be seen in China. There's no Facebook or Twitter there, and now Beijing has reportedly blocked Instagram. Still, the word has gotten out, and the Chinese government has responded saying essentially, nothing to see here, folks, and refusing to change the policy on elections. Some older Hong Kong residents, meanwhile, have started a counter-protest, wanting to play nice with China and not stir the pot. So, is there a limit to China's power? Can Hong Kong build its own Great Wall and preserve its liberties? How will this all play out? Who knows? But as the story continues to unfold, at least you'll be able to say, now I get it.
These government headquarters. This is dawn of day 66 in Hong Kong's pro-democracy demonstrations. A morning where, for the first time, police forcefully cleared tents around the main site of Admiralty, and where police and protesters alike beat each other with batons. Student democracy leaders had called for the rally. Protesters criticized the police and called on the city's top government official to come out.
How can we calm down when they keep hitting us? It's impossible because we're just running from them. We are not like attacking them, but they are just crazy.
The police are getting increasingly less patient, and I don't blame them because they're being they're being humiliated by the government. They're doing CY loans like dirty work. CY loan, as a leader, he should actually come out and have a real dialogue with the protesters. I understand and I sympathise with the need to escalate because if CY loan isn't responding in any way, students can't go to Beijing to talk to the Chinese government, then there needs to be some sort of escalation.
With tension high on both sides, police pushed back protesters, clearing out a key public bridge linking Hong Kong's government offices to the area's subway link, while threatening them up close with pepper spray. Before dawn, protesters charged into a tunnel outside Hong Kong's government headquarters, chanting, "Open the road." Others pushed metal barricades across the road in efforts to hold seized ground.
所有嘅行動嚟講啦，基本上你話圍堵一個地方嘅政府總部，其實已經係非常之落呢個政治上面，都係刮咗呢個政府一巴。咁如果佢係依然係有尊嚴嘅話，其實佢係應該正面回應你話你話佔領者嘅民主訴求嘅，咁而唔係。
In recent years, Chinese and Americans have competed for the prize of which country has the loudest and most obnoxious tourists. But that may all be a question of relative distance from each country. Last year, Hong Kong saw nearly 50 million tourists from China. That's more than 7 times the population of Hong Kong itself. The tourists from China bring their loud voices, bad manners, bad habits, and money with them. The Hong Kongers call them locusts because of their voracious appetite for shopping and tendency to descend on shopping areas or supermarkets in swarms. It's why in Yuanlong, more than 400 protesters turned out against Chinese shoppers, calling for the eradication of the Communist Party and the revocation of multiple entry visas, allowing Chinese nationals to enter Hong Kong. Yuanlong is a border town in Hong Kong's new territories, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from mainland China. Many so-called businessmen buy goods in Hong Kong and then move them over the border to resell for a profit in China. It's known as parallel trading. Unfortunately, this also drives up costs and rents as the Chinese tourists inflate the market.
即係我哋當初都話係一咁樣受嘅，即係都有結果喺呢個即係事例咁，但係唔知喎，咁但係唔知政府嗰位佢哋去咯。咁我哋學民又冇係自己搬嘅，咁其實嗰位同嗰個立場一樣嘅咯。同埋你個人入晒去場嗰邊，我哋都要分嘅。問佢點解出催淚彈，點解邊個承擔嘅政治責任？林鄭有參與決定。